This is going to be my first ride with the lowering links installed from Lust Racing. I didn't do anything with the suspension settings yet because I figured I'd see how it felt first. And obviously I haven't lowered the front yet either. So I'm going to order the clip-ons sometime soon, probably sometime this week. And then once those get here, we'll lower the front. I'm also testing out this new helmet setup with the GoPro Hero 7, so we'll see how this audio sounds and everything else. It's kind of crazy that even now that they're on Hero 8, in my opinion, the Hero 4 Black is still the best camera they had. You know, you don't need this big donkey mic adapter for it to work, which I had to Velcro to the side of my helmet. If the setup works out, I'll show you what I ended up with. I've gone through probably about 5 different setups on the Icon Airflight helmet here, trying to get this to work properly. So the only thing I don't like about it is that the GoPro mounts to the visor, and a lot of times I like to ride with my visor up around town, and I can't do that and record at the same time, obviously. But back to the Lust Racing lowering links, what I can tell you so far is I fit on the bike much better. My feet are completely flat. Both of them are completely flat on the ground, which feels pretty cool. Even just that 1 inch makes a huge difference. Oh, and I could still use the factory kickstand so far. We'll see after I lower the front, but with just the back being lowered, the kickstand is no problem. It's still got plenty of lean on it. You know, and while we're just cruising around, I may as well throw up some footage of installing these. It's a super easy install, guys. You know, if you're debating on lowering it or not and not sure if you could do it yourself, it's very easy. All I can say is just be real careful with whatever jack you're going to use. You will need some kind of support under the bike. I used the jack from my Nissan Xterra and it worked perfectly. I'm installing these Lust Racing lowering links from the UK. I was gonna get the Brox kit. The only reason I didn't is because I'm not really looking for adjustability. I just want to lower the bike about 1 inch. According to the website, these will lower the bike 1.2 inches. And that'll allow me to lower the front 1 inch, which is what I've wanted to do. Now, for some reason, if I find I do need to go lower, then I'll probably just end up ordering the adjustable link. These brackets are kind of a must when you're lowering the bike anyway. That's why the Brox kit comes with new brackets. You can see the shape is much different than the factory bracket. So if I line up these holes, and then you'll see how it works there. So you got a little more space here for the shock so it doesn't hit, and then you'll see that this bolt will drop that down a little bit. You'll have to take off this rear set on the right side. On the left side, all you have to do is take off the heel guard, get your bike up on paddock stands, front and back, and just basically have to put a little pressure. So it's not on the oil pan, it's not on the exhaust, it's on the actual frame of the bike, and it's just enough to hold it there so I can take the tension off the back wheel. That way you can get all these bolts out. They are 14 millimeter, and then your rear set bolts, which are 6 millimeter, I believe. Yeah, the 6 millimeter. And then the one to get the heel plates off is 5 millimeter, which will do these guys on the other side. I just wanted to make a note too that these sleeves that go inside the link, pulling those out, I'm going to clean all this up inside there, and we will be reusing my Maxima waterproof grease to recoat all these. So the links are on, I think the website's loweringlinks.com. Like I said, super easy. On this side of the bike, just got to remove these two 6 millimeter hex bolts, your one little 5 millimeter with a 10 millimeter nut on the back of this. So then you can take this whole assembly, kind of move it up. What I did was use a bungee cord to hold it, strapped it up to my stabilizer right here, held everything up and out of the way. It allowed me to get my ratchet in there with a 14 millimeter socket on this side. On the other side, you don't even have to take off the rear set. You can just take off the heel guard, 2 5mm hex bolts, and then you can get a box wrench on these 14mm nuts on the back, and they're all lock nuts, so I didn't use any thread lock or anything back here, just a little bit of grease on everything. I measured it. Now on the website it says it drops at 1.2 inches. Measuring it the same way I did before them, my seat height was almost exactly 32 inches, and now it's almost exactly 31 inches. So it could be 1.2 inches. When I measure it, I get 1 inch, but either way, that's exactly what I was going for, was a 1 inch drop on the back. As soon as I get some spacers to lift up the stabilizer, I'm going to drop the forks down. I'll probably do the clip-ons at the same time too, so my goal right now is to order a set of clip-ons and get some spacers made up. I'm going to take it out tomorrow morning, so I'm curious to see if it does drive funny at all with the back being lowered and the front not being lowered yet, but we'll find out. But otherwise, just get into the back bolt, the one that holds the shock to the plates. That's probably the hardest one. Taking it off is not really that hard, but getting it back, because once you put the links on, it's going to move that bolt back a little bit, so it makes it a little more difficult to get to it. With the right tools, like a box wrench and a swivel adapter, you can get it done. You might just have to move around, you know, side to side from the bike to see which side is best to get it bolted on from. Of course, torquing everything back down. You want to torque all those bolts to 26 foot-pounds. And then on the rear set on this side, it's like 18 something. I just set them to 19. I had it set to 19 foot-pounds. If you haven't watched it yet, go back one video to episode 16 and check out how we do it here in Connecticut with 2020's East Coast and Summer Ender. You know, I mentioned in the video a couple times that it was kind of like a bust, but you know, looking back too, I mean, it wasn't necessarily, the event wasn't a bust, just the cops. They weren't cooperating. Anytime we tried to go anywhere, they told us we had to leave. I mean, obviously, if you go back and watch the video, there was plenty of bikes doing stunts and all sorts of fun stuff going on. It just didn't have the same feel to it as last year. We were able to do whatever we wanted, go wherever we wanted, and the cops were there more or less just to keep everybody safe. You know, this year they kept moving in and making people break up and then moving the spot, and like, I understand because of COVID we're not supposed to gather. I mean, if you watch the video, yeah, a lot of people in the crowd weren't wearing masks. However, a good 90% of the people there had helmets on. So what better mask can you get than a, you know, full face helmet? There was even an article talking about how we had a blatant disregard for public safety because we all decided to do the event anyway and go out there and not wear masks. And it's like, seriously, go back and look again, because yeah, good majority of people did have masks on. They were called helmets. Ooh, that got splattered. This has got to be the slowest ride I've ever had to get to Norwich. It's ridiculous. It might just be me, but actually feels like it rides a little bit better already. I mean, it's still bumpy because the suspension on these bikes are just stiff anyway. It actually feels a little smoother. I mean, so far. I haven't gotten into any twisties yet, so it doesn't mean a whole lot yet. Low speed bumps feel pretty good in the back anyway. The front's still bouncy as hell. Until the next one, guys, stay safe and peace out.